This video I'll explain whether you should run a 14, 15, or a 16 teeth front sprocket on your 650. So the question is, why do I want to change the front sprocket? And the answer is, it depends. It depends what you're trying to get out of it. Or if you're looking for more top end, or you're looking for more torque, more pickup. So the answer is, it really depends on what you're looking for. So it really comes down to three options where we can simply swap out the front sprocket without really interfering with the rear sprocket. And these three options will work just fine with the factory chain. If we talk about the option, it comes down to 14, 15, and 16 teeth. From factory, we get a 15 teeth front sprocket, which in my opinion is an all-around. Engineers at Royal Enfield did their homework right. It is compatible in cities, freeways, hill climbs, you name it. Like I said before, the answer is it depends. It depends what you're expecting out of your machine. Now, if I was using this for touring where I have camping gear, some luggage, some heavy trail tires, and I was carrying extra fuel, then I would definitely use a 14 teeth. That will give me a lot more torque to climb those off-road roads. And with that riding style, I won't be really seeing any top speeds, right? And also, if you have a pillion in the back and you're in an area where you're climbing a lot of hills, then yeah, definitely would recommend 14. It will really help with the pickup. Now I'm going with the 16, and the reason is to get more top end out of this. Couple other benefits that come with 16 is if you're a commuter and you're using this to cover a lot of freeway miles, I would definitely recommend 16. And the reason being is, as you're cruising to 80 to 85 or even higher, the revs will tend to drop a couple of hundred, which increases the longevity of the engine itself. Lower RPMs, it's more fuel efficient, but that's least of my concerns because I'm more for miles per gallon than miles per gallon. Now to begin this, we'll have to take out the sprocket cover. Now, lucky you if you have an Interceptor, but this being a GT, we'll have to remove the gear shift peg also, as it interferes with the third bolt on the bottom. So yeah. So to begin, I'm using a 8mm to loosen that bolt. Now you don't have to take out the bolt all the way, just loose enough to where you can just pull the peg off those spline shaft. Now onto these Allen bolts. Now a neat little trick that I use is whenever I'm taking off the wheel to get the best proper alignment, or whether tightening the chain is, just get a small piece of wood, put it against the second locking nut for the And as you put it against it, wherever the thread ends, I usually just mark a line, and this being the left side. It is really important to get the correct amount of turns equally on both sides, as that determines how straight or at an angle your wheel is. And if you have a wheel that is crooked, that is going to put a lot more pressure on the rear sprocket. Now with those measurements we just got, we really don't have to keep a track of these turns. I'm going to loosen both the sides. That should be good enough. Now in order to take this nut off, you will have to flatten out this washer in the back, as it is bent over this nut to prevent it from spinning. So I'm using a little chisel with the hammer. Now you will need a breaker bar to break that nut loose. In my case, I'm using this 20-volt impact. Now if you are using power tools, make sure the bike is in gear and have someone hold down the rear brake, just so you don't strip down anything. That's it. As you can see, the washer did get a little damaged, but I'm going to fix this by flattening it out. Next, we just need to simply make sure our chain's pretty loose and slide that out. Sweet. That is one at the top, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Cool. And just comparing it side by side, it's the same amount of thickness. Even the rubber seal has the same amount of thickness and slightly bigger. One thing you do want to make sure is, I'm going to insert this first and then explain. Now, depending on where you get the sprocket from, I would only recommend a trusted source. One thing you have to make sure is, as you get this seated, is the splines themselves don't have any play with the sprocket. If that's the case, it is going to shred those splines. And we're going to revert the process now, making sure the sprocket is aligned properly with the splines. The teeth are aligned with the chain itself, and the washer goes with a little bump towards the outside, and the washer actually sits on the spline also. There it is. And we're going to thread this back. So once you get the nut against the washer, this gets torqued down to 145 Newton meters, or approximately 106 foot-pound. There it is. So yeah, now you would say, hey, we technically just added a bigger sprocket, so these measurements are basically useless. Well, technically, we could still use these to align the wheel, but to get the right amount of tension on the chain, it will be just a hair or two less. So I'll be still using this to at least get the alignment of the wheel. So once you have torqued it down, don't forget to flatten the washer on the nut. So yeah, I'm basically gonna do that. And I'm actually going to do it on the opposite side also. Just some double caution. That ain't going anywhere. Now lastly, to wrap it up, as you folks assemble the gear shifter pedal, make sure there's a little dot. Let me focus that. That needs to align with this line. That just ensures that your footrest and the gear shifter are aligned. If that is not aligned, then it's either going to be up or down. So, yeah.